What do you get when you mix two friends, a podcast, and minimal focus or agenda?
You get a premium blend of vivacious banter across copious realms of sport, pop culture, and other.
Join us as we explore this week's topics. Who knows what we'll get into next? The answer is TBD.
Just say anything. Something funny, something whimsical. Ian Turner.
And I'm Aaron Lingling. And an ode to baseball. I have something I want to read to you. Because we're going to talk about baseball a little bit more than we normally do.
Are you retiring? Are you penning your letter to the Players Tribune?
Yeah. Thank you, Seattle. There once was a player named Puckett. He made all the pitchers say fuck it. When he stepped up to the plate, they said, oh great! And we're too scared of Kirby to chuck it.
Who's Kirby to chuck it?
Kirby Puckett. Minnesota Twins. Sorry.
When?
I thought of Kirby Puckett, late 80s to mid 90s.
Well,
I think I told you this. I had first grade show and tell. I had a rookie Kirby Puckett card. He also had, I forget the disease, but he basically went blind, and he was badass. And he was a great hitter. He's in the Hall of Fame. I feel really bad for writing that and now talking about him and not knowing that. But
We're looking you up right now.
Kirby, that was me breathing it.
Kirby is not even the sixth Kirby to show up on.
It's been like 20 years.
Puckett with a P. Here he goes.
No, Puckett with an F.
Let's see. Whoa, he's dead.
Oh,
dude,
Kirby.
You're the worst.
Why?
You're the worst fan.
I'm not a big... Okay.
Dude, he died. He died in 2006.
Well, I was fucking 17? Shit. All right. Sorry, Kirby. Well, hell, it was an ode to him, right?
Yeah,
that's all good
I bet that's one of few. At his retirement,
I hope he's in the Hall of Fame.
I hope he has several odes. Honestly, this guy's gonna do more in our lives than we will. So
yeah, no, he's a badass, and I guess that makes sense why I haven't heard about him for a while, for approximately 12 years.
Here's my ode, brought to you by the stalwarts of integrity, Wikipedia. Kirby Puckett, March 14th, 1960, 2 months younger than my father, to March 6th, 2006, was an American professional baseball player. He played his entire 12-year Major League Baseball career as a center fielder for the Minnesota Twins, 1984 to 1995. Puckett is Twins' all-time leader in career hits, runs, doubles, and total bases. At the time of his retirement, his .318 career batting average, .318. I don't know why I said .318. Batting average was the highest by any right-handed American League batter since one Joe DiMaggio. Puckett was the fourth player during the 20th century to record 1,000 hits in his first 5 full calendar years in the major leagues. Second to record 2,000 hits during his first 10 calendar years after being forced to retire in 1996 due to loss of vision in one eye. Puckett was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2001 in his first year of eligibility. So he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
When he stepped up to the plate, they said, oh, great. And we're too scared of Kirby to chuck it. Well, thank you for polishing off my own there. R.I.P. Anyway, yeah, he's a badass. We're going to talk about some baseball. What else are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about Cliff Averill with the Seahawks saying thank yous and goodbyes. Definitely the playoffs are in the second round now.
Yep, we just watched.
May 15th.
Yeah. So I'm going to say this right now, just before we get into that. I don't know why people predict the way they do. They're horrible at it. I don't know why people have that much faith in LeBron James. And I love LeBron, but I never thought that this series was going to go the way it was going to go against Boston. Anyway, yeah. So how was your day?
And it's official, the Celtics did win.
Oh yeah.
We walked out there was 3.5 minutes.
Dude, it was
and they were
over.
down by 7.
They're a better team. I'd feel bad about Kyrie Irving.
Maybe 9.
They don't need him.
Yeah.
It's an indictment on Kyrie.
I don't know. Kyrie, if maybe it's good because we're already talking about it. I don't know. We should save that. Save that for
Tune in.
I'm gonna type it into our words. But we're gonna also get a little scuttlebutt.
Yes,
Second
we will.
time we're doing a little
Yes, we
center
will.
scuttlebutt.
Yes, we will.
And had a full week of info there. Mariners, as I mentioned, huge Cano news.
Oh my god, yeah.
Huge Cano news. Paxton, though, that was a
That was
positive.
a good thing.
Got a no-hitter.
Yeah.
I think he might be playing tonight, I think. So we're talking about, obviously, his one no-hitter this season against the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
And Ichiro. Been about a month, maybe 3 weeks since we found that news out, but worth mentioning.
Yeah, we want to
for
talk
sure.
about that.
Got some nerd verse for y'all, too.
Just a little bit. Just want to, take the pulse of the verse. And then we've got a fun, nerd-themed sports filler across the universe for you, where the players will be the athletes and the theme will be the nerdverse.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Our verses of nerds. All right.
Verses and nerds, verses and nerds. I have a little segment who likes verses and nerds.
That's one of my favorite chords, actually. How do I say Starbucks? Starburst. Yeah. Peaches and cream, peaches and cream. I'm a little lad who likes peaches and cream.
Berries and cream.
Oh, damn it. Peaches and cream. Where'd I get that?
That's a thing that people
Well,
eat.
it's
You
good.
got it from life.
It's good flavor.
Yeah.
It's good flavor.
Georgia.
Well, what do you say, Ian? Should we jump
Let's
right
jump
into the
into
sports chat?
Hut, sports chatter, crack, home run, bases loaded.
Swoosh. Nike.
Okay.
Cliff Abel.
Yeah.
Go.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So, starting things off with a little bit of a bummer, but not necessarily a surprise. Cliff Averill penned his heartfelt goodbye to Seattle in the Players Tribune. What was this, like 2 weeks ago?
Mhm.
It's titled "Thank You, Seattle." Aaron, I saw you reading through it less than an hour ago. I haven't read it in a while. You want to give us the quick little summary?
Pisses me off that it's spelled link, as in the clink, in there, but as you mentioned, it's probably an editor saying, I don't know anything about football
I think
or
it's
Seattle.
So to give you an idea of what Aaron's saying is, CenturyLink is called the clink in slang, and it was written the link in
his
article.
big heartfelt...
So I'd say it's 10% likely that the editor was dumb enough to edit that.
Yeah.
I have heard people call it the link, man.
Who fucking calls
It's
it
called
that?
CenturyLink.
Yeah. The clink, as in jail, a fortress, or... No, I don't know. I'm just kind of joking a little bit, but while reading it, it was just like, oh, this is nice. And then wait, you didn't get our house right, but whatever. No, I thought, as I do with every Players Tribune article, that, wow, all athletes are well versed and they're really good authors.
Yeah.
And they have a better, they speak better English than I do.
Oh, yeah.
But obviously, there's some things I haven't unpacked in there. But I thought it was, I don't know. I liked it a lot. I
like this first paragraph. I'm just going to read it. So it was 9 a.m.
the whole paragraph.
I'm going to read about 4 sentences.
Oh, okay, I can handle that.
So it was about 9 a.m. and we were on the team plane sitting on the tarmac at Newark Airport. My hood, for all those who care. After we beat the Broncos in Super Bowl 42, or
48.
No, 48, wow. The night before, we turned italics all the way up. Me, Mike B, and the rest of the D-line.
All the italics were turned up.
Yes. Me, Mike B, and the rest of the D-linemen popped some champagne and went to the team party for a few minutes. That's like dropping in on that's like dropping in on your parents' party that they're having for your high school graduation.
Yeah,
so you can go
want to go to Steve's.
drop a bunch of XC on your eyeballs and go have sex with a hole in the ground when you're 19.
Sounds like Ian's got a story for us later.
Yeah.
Graduated high school.
They don't
at
call
19.
They don't call me Dirt Penis for nothing. Aaron.
Dirt Penis Turner graduated high school at 19, and his parents still threw him a party.
Anyway, well, I did graduate college at 26, so anyway,
Your second college, third technically.
fourth.
Whoa.
Yeah. So and then we hit the clubs in New York City and just partied until they stopped serving drinks, which is not that impressive. Partied longer than that, Cliff.
Yeah.
You're...
Well, did you read the rest? And then we
Man.
sprinted to QFC before.
Then we sprinted to QFC, got a bunch of beer, and invited everybody that we had seen from there to our apartment back. And they got on a plane and kept partying. Okay. So very, very cool.
They partied after the Super Bowl.
You know, like one thing, and this kind of goes into the LOB kind of post-mortem,
Mm-hmm.
but like people talk about like the LOB, like, oh, they're falling apart. Like it was like the mainstream narrative with us is the that we lost the second Super Bowl. But like how many teams do get brought up with a breath of reverence that only won one Super Bowl? Like I think that as time goes on, we dismantled one of the best offenses in NFL history.
The best.
Yeah. Is
The
it
best.
statistically in
Yep.
history?
Yep.
Yeah, we dismantled them. And actually, my favorite Cliff Averill memory is not necessarily a specific play. It was that first play of that Super Bowl, and I was nervous. I was like, man, what is going to
You
happen?
mean snap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Cliff didn't really do anything. It was a bad snap, but there was so many Seahawks fans in New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And
You
so
can
it
hear it.
becomes a safety.
What if the Super Bowl was in a safe? Just make it happen.
That'd be really exciting,
That would
actually.
be
Just you had to run through
tough
the aisles.
seats to get.
I still think, I continue to vote for this, I think every field should be like a different map of Super Smash Brothers. I think like there should be trees and hills and holes. Like, oh, you go to Carolina, there's the Panther hole at the 43-yard line.
Die.
No, we want to actually have Panthers in it, have pillows.
No, even trees. Can you imagine running full speed trying to catch something in a fucking tree? If you run into
What
it,
if you just
it
had
pretty much did that?
What if you just had wacky
Getting
waving
NFL.
inflatable arm flailing tube men?
They have no legs. So it'd be really entertaining for like 12 seconds.
And then or you go to Pittsburgh or Cincinnati and like you remember those like new things that they use in practice, those like quick moving like black dildos. Do you not know what I'm talking
yeah,
about?
I know what you're talking about.
Just like, oh, here comes the 13th minute of the third quarter. You know what happens here in Cincinnati? The giant black dildos come out for the next three plays.
Like a mixture of Crossfire and American Gladiators.
It's like the coach is like, we gotta make sure we're off the field by the time the black dildos come out.
Get a high score and get a black dildo coming
You know, when you're playing Cincinnati, it's tough because you got them black dildos at 3 o'clock. If you're playing at 3 o'clock, so help you God.
Yeah.
You know, we drafted this quarterback. He's always got good vision, and he's got experience against the dildos.
He's really good out under pressure with the dildo coming at him.
So, what the fuck was I talking about?
So LOB era.
It just annoys me, like, because we're not a marquee franchise in the American narrative. Like, I think we're an amazing franchise.
Yeah.
In the context of the NFL, we sell out our seats. We're well ran. We win. But like we're not the Dallas Cowboys. Even the Dallas Cowboys could be 7-9, and they're in every daily talk show. Like,
well, why is that? That's history, right?
Yeah, in a way.
I mean, Green Bay Packers are in that category, right? The Giants are.
No, you're right.
in
You're
that
right. You're right.
category.
You're right. But yes, you're right.
I mean, I give the Packers as an example of no market, media market. However, it's the Green Bay Packers.
Well, I
Everyone
think
knows
right
that.
now it's because well, they've just been fortunate to have. They go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. They would not be
I mean, dude, they.
Well, yeah, them too. But like they had, but I'm just saying, like in this age of media, they've stayed in the limelight because there are still the Chicago Bears are a storied franchise, and no one talks about them.
I don't know if there's that story.
I'm just
85 Bears was absolutely dominant.
I'm gonna say like
And
the
they're
one
still
Tom
right
Brady
now.
leaves the Patriots, no one's gonna talk about the Patriots.
Well, that's a tough prediction. I mean,
Anyway, so so back to what I was saying. So my favorite memory is just the end zone camera showed Cliff run after the ball and it went out of bounds. He just screams into the stands, and I was like, oh man, like it is on.
Yeah.
And I was still so nervous about. I blacked the F out of that.
Yeah.
After that game.
How many things did you lose that night after?
I lost my ID, my debit card, both my shoes, and I woke up like my tongue was black because I had bitten it, and it was so much blood. Oh, and I had a receipt from a cab in my not a receipt, a "you owe me money, I'm very mad at you" card.
Because you were refusing to pay.
Well, I think a cab just came by, and like it's weird to think, but this was like before Uber, in 2013.
Oh yeah.
And I just got in. I was like, I'm going home.
And he took you home.
Took
and
me
you
home.
realized you
Granted, he
weren't
took me
wearing
home like
shoes or-
3 blocks, and like I get home, and like coincidentally, 2 of my other friends were walking by outside my apartment, and they saw me just
Zach, right?
Yeah, and Corey. And I'm yelling at this cab driver, and he's like, "You gotta pay me." And I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you what I was saying, but
Absolutely not, sir.
And then he looked at Zach and Corey and he said, "You need to pay for this man," and they wouldn't do it. So anyway,
Of course they do.
Will, my roommate was like, his story, the way he recounts the story is, "Hey, Ian, how's the Super Bowl? I got fucked up, passed out, and yeah, it was bad." So yeah, that was just. I was still nervous about that game, just given they remind me of watching the Warriors. Like any second, no lead is safe with those guys.
Yeah,
and then I was still nervous even when halftime came around, and then when Percy Harvin returned it, I was like, we win.
Which, by the way, quick, even though we're not really reviewing the Super Bowl, I love Percy Harvin. Whatever, I love that he caught the ball on a bounce and got it at the 12-yard line.
Yep,
and it took him
12
seconds.
Russell Wilson had 206 pass yards.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nah.
Everyone remembers the little things about the Super Bowl. We won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And you know what? Not a lot of teams can say that.
Well, and I think all of it's Pete Carroll and John Schneider.
And John Schneider.
With the
And Russell
championship
Wilson.
mentality. And definitely Russell Wilson. He's quarterback. But LOB era, it's not the
Yeah, let's
cornerback.
talk- okay,
it's
actually-
not the defensive back.
So let's actually make that. Let's just. Okay, so.
Yeah.
Bye, Cliff. We love you.
By the way, was released, failed.
Yeah, he failed the physical. I
mean,
mean, hey man, I hope you seem like you have a really great head on your shoulders. You got an entrepreneurial mind.
odd thing to say with someone.
Yeah, you have a slightly
your neck
efficient
doesn't work.
head
But
on.
you have a great head.
Yeah, your head's great. Keep doing your work with Haiti. We'll keep sending them the shirts of all the losers. And that was kind of mean. But I like you.
Yeah.
So
Bye, Cliff.
bye. Yes.
Came in with Michael Bennett and left with Michael Bennett.
You might say he fell off a cliff. He's like, Aaron's like, weighing my pun like a bad wine.
Yeah. Now, then I started thinking, like, what if an Avril fell on his head? Like a Looney Tune. But no, great career. Shitty team that he started with, the Detroit Lions, but ended on a phenomenal team with phenomenal stories, and he was crucial on that defense.
He was great.
And
we'll miss you.
Yeah, and defensive line correlates directly to the LOB. And that's what made LOB the LOB. I mean, if we couldn't get to the quarterback and disrupt things as quickly as we did, it wasn't so much the sacks, but just the pocket pressure that allowed. And then you had Earl Thomas, who we still have, who just took over left, right, center of the field, and Richard Sherman was a product probably, and we'll find out this year.
We'll find out. Well, I don't think you'll be able to say
Reed's
for
pretty
sure.
Badass.
Yeah, Eric Reed is pretty badass, but Eric Reed's a free agent, so who knows what he's going to do?
Oh, that's true.
Because there's all that stuff about the kneeling and no one's giving him an interview, which I don't want to get into. But
will you lock arms and join the Seahawks?
Yeah, seriously, I'd take him.
Yeah, right.
He's a big guy. He could be Cam Chancellor.
No, yeah. Give Trey Flowers a.
But so I want to say this about Legion of Boom. Like, I think under the Pete Carroll regime, I think there'll always be a Legion of Boom like mentality. Like, even if Earl Thomas leaves, I think like I would want Shaq Griffin to like say LOB.
Oh, we're gonna hit hard.
2.0.
Yeah.
Let the guy like. I think that you should always have that mentality. I think that was so cool. But that being said, I think it's safe to say that era is over. Like, of those three main guys. You still got Earl, but Richard, Cam, and Earl together.
So, question.
Yeah.
Is Legion of Boom those specific players, or
to me they are,
or the attitude of our defensive backs?
Well,
we've gone through different defensive coordinators.
Oh, I never thought it was a defensive coordinator.
I know. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing changes. So now it's really let's. 90% chance. I don't think Cam's coming back.
No.
I'd
give him a
job. Money. The reason we haven't heard anything is money is guaranteed at this point for him, regardless if he plays or if he retires.
If he retires and we give him the money, does it go against our salary cap?
So I think if you're not on the active roster, then you're guaranteeing him money. But if you're not on the active roster, it's not against your cap.
Because you can pay someone and it's not against the cap. I know there's ways to do it.
Yeah.
So,
like Malik McDowell probably wasn't on our cap. I don't know. Either way, I wouldn't be surprised if Cam Chancellor doesn't come back. Yeah. I would love for him to come back, but only if he actually plays like Cam Chancellor. But that guy hits things so hard that his body's just falling apart.
Yeah, Cam.
And God bless him, man. He was literally killer for us.
Yeah.
Too many broken bodies that he's blown through. And,
Yeah.
And so, but I think with just Earl Thomas, you think LOB's over. It's a new maybe iteration of it.
I think that LOB will always be a Seahawks thing. But I think that this generation, I think you can now, I think next season is the start of something different and new. And I think you can actually I think it's time to, reflect on it's not like this story is continuing. I think we can now close the book on this chapter in the Seahawks defense LOB era. And I think it's worth looking back and
we'll call it episode 1.
The Phantom Legion of Boom. So, favorite moment from the LOB?
Every Cam Chancellor hit. Every single
God.
one. Every single one.
Never.
Richard Sherman's great. Immaculate deflection's awesome. It got us to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But again,
some of Cam's hits. Oh my God. Remember that one against Frank Gore?
Yeah, Frank Gore.
No, it was Vernon Davis. Was it Frank Gore? The one he got
definitely Vernon Davis by
the one to get knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, and that was actually a flag.
We were at that game.
That was a flag, and then it turned out to be a video representation, like an education video of how to hit properly if you're gonna hit hard. Because they got a flag because the ref was like, "That guy died. That's a foul. That's a flag, man.
It must be.
That guy's actually dead.
Yeah.
His arms are like kinked, and no. And you rewatch it, is a perfect hit.
Yeah,
timed it perfectly, right angle, hit him right square in the sternum. With his shoulder. It was wonderful.
Has anyone ever gotten a comment from... I'm sorry, did you say it was Vernon Davis?
Yeah, definitely Vernon Davis. Because he did it again the next year.
And did anyone ever get a comment from him about that?
Oh, I'm sure there's plenty. Vernon Davis has said plenty of shit. He
talks.
He's a loudmouth, but like a funny...
No,
kind of like Von Miller. Is like, oh, I'm kind of quirky.
Like Von Miller.
Yeah, there was this quirky big teeth guy.
Yeah.
Brandon Marshall, Von Miller, and Vernon Davis all go hang out and go nuts together.
Speaking of Brandon Marshall... Oh, you're talking about Brandon Marshall with the Broncos or the receiver?
Talking about the receiver, Brandon Marshall.
Oh, yeah. But did you hear that he tried out with us? We obviously didn't sign him.
I don't give a shit if he did. I didn't know he did, but I don't.
He did.
I don't want him.
I don't want him either.
I'm happy. I'm happy with what we got because it's always like
they're
probably gonna be a star.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that's a great answer. Every Cam Chancellor hit. I think that really personified. Earl with his tenacity and never giving up, and those hits on
Earl after a play is almost equal to Cam during a hit because
you look
Earl
back
freaking out every time he does something.
I love when he sits there and has yeah.
Like gets so hyped,
yeah,
or just like walks away, just like steam coming off of him. Like I just did that.
Earl comes in, Oh, actually, okay, this is my second favorite, but I'm gonna say my favorite in a second. My second favorite is when he took Rob Gronkowski out of,
punctured his lungs, and no longer in this season.
Good Lord, and that was a legal hit too.
Mm-hmm.
It just. The force of his face.
Previous episode, yeah.
Yeah, that's so cool. So my favorite LOB play, and it's actually not defense. It was just I associate LOB with this 2011 till now era.
Yeah.
So we were at this game, and it was in a we have arrived moment. So the previous year, the 49ers had gone to the Super Bowl and lost to the Ravens. Mm-hmm. So, but they were the cream of the crop at the NFC West.
2013 season.
Yeah, and so we had games to the we had games. We had tickets to the 49ers that night, and it was moved. And this was not like this is the year I think we won the Super Bowl. It was. Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
2013.
And so
season.
Yes. And so the 49ers and the Seahawks weren't a rivalry yet. Like we were never like the Sunday night game. But towards the end of the season, if a game looks particularly good, they will move it to Sunday night.
The flex
they will move it to Sunday night, and that's what happened with us. So, it was we need to win this game. We need to make a statement. We crushed them that game, and
that was like a 43-9 game.
Dude, remember? They got one touchdown in garbage time. So my favorite memory is the blocked punt by Red Bryant, where Richard Sherman returns it for a touchdown.
Vaguely.
Well, we're at the game, and
you
can see there. You'll recognize the play. It's like always in a Seahawks highlight. Sherman, he's got shorter dreads, and he's running through the end zone. His arms are out like this.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget that. And we kicked their ass, and we were Big Brother from there until they haven't proved it yet.
No,
we're still Big Brother.
They've only Benjamin Buttoned since 2012.
Yeah, so they've been going downhill. All they've really had to be in the news is all that controversy. So I'm glad I'm a Seahawks fan. And,
Damn straight.
you know, like you said, I'd love to get Eric Reed.
Yeah. Strap arms with us, guy. Cool. I'm Seahawked out, honestly.
I'll never be Seahawked out.
Well, not my life. No, like right now. I mean, that's big news. Cliff Averill. But they've been doing the voluntary OTAs. A lot of rookies and Russell Wilson and his babies. But
Russ Wilson's been making a lot of appearances at some baseball games, namely Baby Future's baseball games. He goes to Future's his stepson, who's the son of Future, the rapper.
I'm not your rapper's favorite rapper. I don't know who that is.
Yes, you do.
I know Pearl Jam.
You don't know who Future is?
No, I don't.
Seriously?
I know Pearl Jam.
Molly
Depeche Mode.
Percocet. Molly Percocet. That
okay.
song. That's Sierra's baby daddy.
Oh.
Do you remember
And then Russell Wilson.
when we went to Atlanta, there was like pictures of Future everywhere on like heckling posters when we played Atlanta in the playoffs 2 years ago.
Oh. I just didn't connect
How
the
did I not
dots.
comment that? Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I'd rather have Russell Wilson
The
as my
Smiths.
dad. Unless I needed to get weed.
Yeah, no.
Actually, I don't even need that anymore because Russell Wilson lives in a place where it's legal.
Well, then you could just call your weird Uncle Future and get your Percocet.
My weird dad Future.
Yeah, let's close out the Seahawks. Unless you got any final things to say.
Yeah, if I could give this era of Seahawks grade, I'd say an A. A super A. For super awesome.
Okay, I thought I was like missing something. And they're like, no, I'm just being simply silly.
Yeah.
Oh, philanthropy. All right, Ian. Well, let's close out the Seahawks now, and I have nothing quippy or funny to say.
Boobs.
Boobs and butts. And penises.
And voices.
And voices. Hello.
Hello. Just here in the studio.
Just here we are, working hard,
Are you still
recording sound.
Yeah.
All of you.
It's, there was a text message sent, and it has to be read loudly. That's what's going on in the other room.
Pretty much.
Are we still recording?
Yeah.
Cool.
Nah,
Sweet.
we're real guys. Yeah. And none of you have paid us anything yet. So once you do, we can tell them to shut the fuck up.
It'll be great.
Because we are professional podcasters.
Yeah.
Right now, we just actually are wearing the same color shirt.
We are.
That's pretty much all we are. Go Seahawks.
Yeah. I'm proud of my bookshelf.
Basketball. Bubba basketball is right, Ian. Well, round 2 has started, has commenced.
Round 2's over, Aaron. We're on the conference
Sorry,
finals.
I am reading words, but saying them as well. Sometimes that's hard. Round 2 is over.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Round 2 is over with an A. And round 3 is commenced, which we could just, no one calls it round 3. It's just the conference finals.
I don't think any of our predictions are wrong at this point from when we change them.
Well,
So
I don't
going
think so,
strong.
because the team that I predicted to win the whole thing, which is Golden
they're going
State,
to.
and I'm 80% of the planet,
Yeah,
so
book it.
I'm going to make 3 cents off that bet.
Yeah. Off my $100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$10,000, Ian. I'm not made of money.
Yeah. Oh, actually, well, sports gambling is now illegal across the entire country. Did you hear about that?
Oh, shit, really? I heard
The
something
Supreme
about
Court-
it, but I was reading MLS shit.
The
which
Supreme
no one
Court
gets on.
deemed sports gambling, bans on sports gambling to be unconstitutional. So now it's up to the states and whether or not
Oh,
they want to make it legal, and they all are going to, because it's going to rake in a ton of money.
shit ton of money. Shit ton of money. I mean, they're doing it in Europe.
Yeah.
All over the place. I mean, there's actual, like, professional soccer teams or football
Yeah.
teams that have, like, Bet365 as
Yeah.
their sponsor. So, yeah.
There's this guy. So at my job, I'm a software engineer and I work for a media streaming company. And our some of the people I work with are the content providers, so they're not technical at all. So this one guy, he is just like, he's older, he doesn't know anything about technology, so I have to like walk him through so much shit. And like they came out, and I was like, I wonder what this guy's all about. Like I really wasn't sure. I was like, and then he started telling me about his life. Guy writes for Bleacher Report. He goes to freaking ringside matches. He is just a jack. He does all this stuff. He's been to,
The guy that doesn't know anything about technology?
No, he's always been like a freelance journalist, and he's a content provider.
Let's have him on the show.
Yeah, this dude, we could. He was at like all of the Knicks Jordan clashes in the 90s.
I jizzed my pads.
Yeah, that dude. So anyway, he blew my, and I told you he's a contributing writer for Bleacher Report. And I was like, holy shit, man. And I don't want to say this guy's name because that'd be rude. But
let's say everything else about him and let people put it together.
Yes, search all tech companies.
Yeah.
Period. So
Technology sportsman. Well, then maybe you'll find us.
Technology sportsman.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell him that's what his name should be now. So why did I bring him up? So we were talking about that today in what we call our stand-up.
Yeah, I have stand-up meetings at I work in
You know who
hospitality.
invented the stand-up? John C. Rockefeller.
Like standing up and talking?
No, like the meeting where you say what you did, what you're gonna do, and if you're blocked by anything. That's what an actual
Good job, John. Thanks, John.
And so, we were talking about
what
that.
What would we have done without John? We would
have.
What am I doing? It's 7 a.m. What do I do? Everybody go home.
That's a meme. Everybody go home.
Yeah.
So I get on the because they're in Philly, and I get on it's a Skype chat, and I catch him halfway through, just like venting on how stoked he is that he can now gamble on sports. He's like, man, I don't have to go through back channels anymore, through like Myanmar, and I'm like, damn, man, like you really like gambling? He's like, yeah, man, I used to gamble on Brexit.
No, that was a thing.
No, I know.
That was a
but
thing.
like, it's just so funny that people get out there and do that shit. Anyway, so you can now gamble on sports. Back to NBA.
Back to the NBA.
So I'll get it started. So last round we had some good matches. I'm actually. Oh Jesus!
Do you have predictions? Did we write those down?
The predictions were.
Did you save them?
We didn't predict.
Did I predict anything?
We didn't predict the rounds, but we predicted the people who were going to come out of each conference.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so we're not wrong, but I'm about to flip my pick.
So you don't have any of our predictions we never did.
No, but if you actually see us on Twitter,
On the
every pundit said that Cleveland was going to have no problem with Boston.
Yeah.
And before game one, TBD podcast posted, I don't know why everyone's saying this. Boston is legit. And then Boston proceeded to beat the crap out of Cleveland. And I want LeBron to get more rings. We're watching history with this man, and he's not my favorite player ever.
I'm okay with it not happening.
I'm not, man. Like, in this social media era where everyone critiques everything about LeBron, the guy does everything right. He doesn't deserve technically anything. I just want him to, I'd like his story to have a little bit less blemishes. I'd like him to be closer to Michael, if it could. I don't think he's better than Michael Jordan, but I would like him to, like when he beat the Warriors in that 3-1, like I would like.
He's got that?
Yeah, he does have that.
There you go.
That's pretty amazing. Anyway, I don't want to see him be beaten by this Boston team, but I think that's going to happen. So let's go over the second.
What's his name, Rozier?
No, just
Can you imagine
Brad Stevens, man. Like, it's a great coach. He coached Butler to the national championship in college. Butler. It's like, even the name of the school is a subservient thing. So,
Just like say butt.
So,
It's got a
thoughts
butt.
from the last round. Well, New Orleans, they lost 1-4 to Golden State.
Anthony Davis lost.
Yes, and Rondo and Drew Holiday didn't really step up. And I'm going to say one thing about that. I think that Houston is going to get swept in this round.
Do you think they're going to get swept?
Dude, they
Okay.
did not even hold a candle to Golden State yesterday.
There was one winner. Who was it that shook the fuck out of Steph Curry?
That was awesome. That was Chris Paul.
Oh, yeah. Who was that? Who was that guy? Yeah, maybe they are going to get swept. I'm forgetting about Chris Paul.
So Chris Paul had a bad game yesterday. James Harden played well, but you need more than one player to play well, as you saw from LeBron James today. We just watched them lose to the Celtics to go down 0-2.
Disjunct is what I called that game.
So Steph
in
actually
series.
did that to Chris Paul a couple of years ago. Broke his ankles.
Hmm.
And so it was cool. I was sitting there going like, revenge!
Why has no one, like, not mirrored, but side by side that? and
I'm
put it
amazed.
online?
Well, he actually didn't make the jumper. He hit the putback.
I know, he put the putback.
No one get any ideas.
But
We're doing it.
We got time because this is not live. And the way I edit, this will be June 32nd.
Yeah. So looking,
June 32nd.
No, I know it's funny. It's hysterical.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. That's the same number as Magic Johnson. Basketball facts.
June.
So let's just go quickly over the matchup. So New Orleans lost as we thought they would, but I think they're going to do better than the Rockets will. Houston beat Utah 4-1, but that series was actually much more entertaining than 4-1 would suggest. I watched almost every game, and Utah has a bright future.
Yeah,
They
Utah
nailed
looks
it
scary.
with Donovan Mitchell. Like, he reminds me of Dwayne Wade.
And he nailed it. The putback.
Oh man, that putback dunk that he did in
It's
game
all over the
2.
interwebs.
Yeah, and I think actually that's the only game they won in Houston.
That dunk was the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Game's over. They win.
And also they have the man with one of the best last names in the NBA. What's Lingles?
What?
Ingles.
Just because my last name is Lingley.
It's close enough.
Okay.
Well, what's it?
So would I have the
when
best
you
last
play FIFA? Don't you use the guy who has the name that sounds like yours, so you can hear the announcer?
It's Langley, but in a British accent, it sounds like
I've met
Langley.
plenty of people have called you
Kind of.
Langley. So then I want to spend a little bit of time talking about 76ers in Boston. So I'm just going to quickly go over the Raptors. They suck. They fired their coach, and he won Coach of the Year at the same time.
When does that ever happen?
Just this week, apparently.
Well, like ever in history. Can you win Coach of the Year and be
Yeah,
fired?
I feel like you should be able to be fired.
Like, does the NBA just, like, keep paying you
Yeah.
because they said that you should be paid?
Yeah.
Like, fuck, that sucks.
I know.
Hey, honey, check it out! I got Coach of the Year. Yo, who's on the line? Fuck! Well, that'll go to the
I feel like LeBron probably fired him.
Probably.
LeBron called in. He probably wants him to be his own coach.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
He doesn't have a coach.
Well, there was like a meme, and I mean a meme in the literal sense, like an idea going around that Drake should get in the front office because that's the worst, dumbest. This is how Donald Trump became president, people. Like,
Yeah.
let's not do that stuff. Okay.
So, Sixers?
So okay, so
Raptors.
this is yeah, I think it's
They're
something, so this is something we should talk about. So the Sixers played Boston, and Boston, like I said, is
Boston's
is
balling.
really well coached team. And I've always, even though Boston Sucks 1989 was my AIM handle back in the day, I've always for some reason liked the Celtics. And Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Marcus Morris, Marcus Smart, like they are a great young team, and they beat down Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, and they really stuffed Ben Simmons, who's probably going to win Rookie of the Year, and had a
He
great
should.
first
He should
round.
absolutely.
No, he should, over Donovan Mitchell.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it's close, I would say. I could see them doing co-Rookie of the Year with like
That's stupid.
Grant Hill and Jason Kidd, both.
I'm not saying it hasn't been done. I'm just saying it's stupid.
Anyway, so I think that let's talk about this now, because I think let's talk about this before anyone else starts talking about this. If
I'm
LeBron
titillated.
gets knocked out of the playoffs by the Celtics, this will be the first time he's not in the finals since 2010.
I see
since
where
Kobe
I see
won.
where you're going with this.
Where should LeBron James go?
Are you feeding me a carrot, or are you
No,
actually opening? Okay.
Well, do you actually want him to go there?
No, in the way you painted it, by there he's talking about LA Lakers, because that's me. I just, maybe it's because, and shit, could have watched every fucking game this year if you listen to episode 2. But I fell in love with the current roster of the Lakers and what you can get possibly in free agency. Like, I don't want Paul George.
Do you want LeBron?
It's LeVon fucking James. However, and I think I said this before, I don't know if it was just us talking or if it was being recorded, I feel like he would stunt the growth of everyone
Yep,
that's on
I
that
agree.
team because they're
I
first,
agree.
second, and third year
Totally
players with a couple of key role
Totally
players.
agree.
They got rid of older players.
I think he could. I think some of the players would be well served for it. Answer this: is Brandon Ingram ball dominant, or could he play off the ball?
He can do both.
So
he
might do
he
well.
would accept.
But
He
Lonzo
would flourish.
wouldn't.
Lonzo would be out the game.
Yeah, he'd be done.
He'd be out the game
But I
because
feel the same thing about Ben Simmons. Like that's why I don't want.
But
We'll talk about that in a second.
yeah,
But
he doesn't have a great jumper, but he's a great player.
talking about Simmons or Lonzo or both, honestly.
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah, one Simmons looks better than when he jumps, does a jump shot. But no, I would. But the way you painted it, I would love to see LeBron James in a Laker uniform and then get something somehow. He'll be in the playoffs. LeBron James makes the playoffs every year, but it'd be fun to see him as a Laker defeat the Celtics. I don't see LeBron James leaving
Ooh.
Cleveland though.
I hope he does it, and I actually know what I hope. So
What would the reaction be in Cleveland if he did it again?
he won them a championship. He owes
Cool.
them nothing.
I'm not saying he owes them anything, but what would the reaction be? Because maybe they don't have big, huge, smart colleges in Cleveland, and they might not be
Boston
the smartest
fans
folks.
burned Isaiah Thomas jerseys after he was traded and his sister
No one
died.
that goes to MIT goes to the Garden.
That's probably not true. So
Well, they probably work at the Garden fixing, I don't know.
the molecules.
Yeah, the molecules over there are wrong. Really digging for jobs here at MIT. NASA's got 0.1% of the budget now.
So actually, that's what I do want. I want LeBron to stay in Cleveland, and I want, based on all the hoopla as they have been reporting, I want Greg Popovich to trade Kawhi Leonard to Cleveland for.
I wanted him to go to PDX, Portland.
Yeah, well, that's never going to
That's
happen. No,
Ian.
no, I did say that, but Greg Popovich has recently said that he will not trade Kawhi to the West. He wants to trade him to the East.
That's smart.
Yeah, it is smart. And so you better not trade him to Boston because that would not be smart. That would be Marcus Smart. And terrible joke. You'd probably have to trade Kevin Love. And I really do like Kevin Love, but you can't have Kevin Love, Kawhi Leonard, and LeBron on the same team. They all play the same position.
How old is Kevin Love right now?
He's our age, like
All right.
1 year older than us, 29.
Oh, then that would be 30.
Yeah, he'll be 30 next year.
That would be an interesting fit for the Lakers.
Kevin Love?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as a third option.
Just a bigger body too.
You want
but-
that off that? You want
but
that money?
that can
Like,
pull.
do you want like a long contract?
I'm not getting into that. I'm not getting. I'm just picturing
At that
on
point,
roster.
at that point, I
If
would
he's
go
no
Paul
longer with
George.
Cleveland.
At that point, I would go Paul George.
That's true. More better defense.
Yeah, better defense. He doesn't seem like he has a personality that he needs the ball all the time. Like a couple
No,
years ago,
he-
I wanted you to have Russell Westbrook, but it seems like he's a cancer.
Yeah, I don't want Russell Westbrook now. I mean, who wouldn't want Russell Westbrook even last year? But
He reminds me of young Kobe, but I don't think he's gonna mature like Kobe.
yeah, unless he does something, horrible in Denver.
Yeah.
Because I really think that's what changed Kobe. I think that's
I never even thought
fuck.
about
I
that.
can't be that guy,
Yeah.
and I was that guy, and I think he really swallowed his pride, and that he changed his fucking number, and I think that was his mental. I can't change me unless I change something.
I always
about
thought
my
that was kind of an
actual-
egotistical thing because it's 3 times 8, and he had 3 rings.
That was his number in high school.
Oh, is that it?
24
Okay.
was his number in high school.
I'm just a nerd. Okay.
And so am I a
Yeah.
little bit. But yeah, I think that's what changed Kobe's mindset a little bit. And even that being said, it's not like he really changed his game that much.
Yeah.
He did open up the floor to a few more players, but when it was Kobe time, it was Kobe time.
So I actually
And I
want to
don't
spend.
think LeBron's going to stop doing that.
No, so I
Even
don't
though
want.
he assists like a
so
motherfucker.
I actually would. I think next episode what we should do is, I put this down in our backlog of things I want to talk about. We should go through all the perspective, and you can cut this out if you want, but
No, fuck it.
well, it's gonna sound weird when you're listening to it. Like,
You tell us.
find articles online because there's so many of them of moves the Lakers can do or moves teams can make this offseason.
Yeah.
I want to go through all perspective.
Have like a weird
go
flow
through an
chart.
Go through an article, and let's just discuss each potential move.
Yeah, sure.
Talk DeMarcus
That'd be
Cousins,
fun.
Anthony Davis.
It'll be fun after the season's over. For
Anthony
sure.
Davis, I think if you guys could get him somehow, but not this year, but next year, Can you imagine that?
Gangly motherfucking Laker team.
So you have.
I'm just saying.
Could you imagine how long that team would be? You get Davis at the 4, Ingram at the 3, Lonzo at the 1, Kuzma at the 2, and then you can even like pay and then if as Magic says he wants 2 max free agents, Klay Thompson at the 2, and then have Kuzma be the 6th man of the year. Could you imagine that team?
As a sophomore, yeah, I could see that.
Fuck yeah, he'd be a 3rd year if they waited because
Kuzma's a rookie.
Yes, I understand, but Anthony Davis is not a free agent. Because I've heard talk that Magic may stand pat until 2019. I have heard that.
I would love that.
I agree.
I would love that because I think there's so much.
I don't think that the free agent class this year is that good except for LeBron.
Well, in the Lakers' second half of the season, if you duplicated it,
Agreed.
is fighting for playoffs there.
I agree.
And so give them a full calendar year with an off season. And this is not a Laker podcast, but I agree with you. That would be fun to do. That would kind of do a little flow.
I'm
chart.
excited about this Laker team because like there's a really good foundation there, and it reminds me of the Seahawks in 2011.
And totally. And it's kind of rare to see that. I mean, the Utah was like kind of that this year.
Utah like hit like the Damian Lillard lottery, like where Brandon Roy got hurt. In their case, Gordon Hayward left. They made the playoffs. They fell in the lottery. Got a draft pick. They got him from Denver, and then they got a kid who was leading their team in the playoffs. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah. So, and that's really cool to see that in the NBA now, because the NBA did turn into more of a theater of just like, who are the biggest stars that can be on a team, and these teams make it to the finals, and here's all the money.
Yeah.
And then you just get lost, and the 8 seed teams get lost, and teams that barely make the playoffs don't make it.
So, we were supposed to be talking about the playoffs, but I mean, to be honest, it's a foregone conclusion. So my prediction has changed. The Celtics are going to beat the Cavaliers.
I thought that was your prediction.
No, I said that in Twitter that they were going to beat them. I said I don't understand why people are saying this, but last time we had predictions in our previous episode, I said Cleveland was going to come out of the East. I'm changing my mind.
Okay.
Boston Jaylen Brown. He's 21 years old. Was a borderline all-star. Like, it was between him and Goran Dragic for the replacements after somebody got hurt.
I like Goran.
I like him too, but Jaylen Brown's an amazing player. And Jason Tatum, 19 years old, he's already better than Gordon Hayward, who they traded for in free agency. And they're going to be so good. But they're good now. And I think that they could take Golden State to 6 games. I think they can win 2 at home. I really do. And it'll be a really good series to watch. It's just for team basketball, because like I was saying to you when we were watching that game, like every shot that Cleveland takes just looks forced, or
100%.
Or LeBron had to do something amazing, like an amazing threaded pass or some crazy blow by.
Yeah, not every play is going to be a top 10.
It's impossible to watch. Like, it's really stressful and really not enjoyable to watch the Cavaliers.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anyway, I think that's what's going to happen. But so, here's what I think LeBron should do. He should stay, and he should rebuild that team. I don't know how. I just think it would, for the NBA's sake, not even for LeBron's sake. You get, let's say Paul George goes to, I've heard a lot of talks of Paul George would be a perfect fit to go to Philly to replace Robert Covington. It's a 3-and-D with much better offense. Mm-hmm. And then you let Ben Simmons be the ball manager. You got Paul George on the wing, and then you got Embiid down low with J.J. Redick and all the other players.
God, J.J. Redick.
The guy's just been everywhere.
Yeah, he's been playing for a very long time.
Yeah, he really has. So you got them, and then you have Boston with Kyrie back, and they'll probably get another player.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get Cleveland with like a Kawhi, or they're gonna improve, I think. And then that's 3 teams right there. And then you have parity. You got Golden State, Houston, and then what's the 3rd team? I mean, of all, like New Orleans. New Orleans will get Boogie back.
Boogie back.
Whatever happens with
how
the Spurs.
Stella got a boogie back.
Anyway, I think it would be really great if LeBron stayed in the East. I think it would make next season really good.
Otherwise the whole continent will just tip over into the Pacific.
Yeah.
Like that's what's going to happen.
Launch New York.
Ben Simmons
Okay, so
a bunch of Eastern Conference players landed in China today after the signing of LeBron James in fucking LA.
LeBron James decided to start a team in Hawaii.
Okay.
So final predictions: Golden State in 6 for the title.
I think it's Golden State's last year too.
Maybe, man. Like,
I think Steph Curry starts falling
Kevin
apart,
Durant,
like in Beetlejuice. If you remember,
he doesn't even need to be 100%
Beetlejuice?
for them to be as good as they are. They're a team. Like they're a team. They're a team. They play team basketball. Like, so
They're
here's
a
my
Steve Kerr team.
only saving grace for this whole thing is that Golden State wins and Steph wins MVP, not Kevin Durant. Fuck Kevin Durant. Like, I don't like this conversation.
Fuck nice guys.
He's not a nice guy. He's a vindictive little petty bitch, in my opinion. Like, I don't like that I said that. I don't want to be that kind of guy. But, man, I don't like the way that he deals with stuff. Like, that stuff on the bottom of his shoes. Like, he gets in, like, he's started to lead the league in technicals once he was on a team where Draymond Green could defend him.
Mhm.
Like, I just don't like that kind of personality. He just
I
seems
can
like
see that.
He's like a studio gangster, as they say. Like, I just think he's kind of a little bitch. Like,
That's fair.
He
You don't
kicked my
be
fucking
worried
ass.
that we said it on a microphone.
Yeah, like,
I mean, it's fair. I mean, I guess.
and
I
the
just
people
think
who
it
say
was-
he's the
I
best
just think
player
it's
on the
not.
planet, are you kidding me?
No, there's
no
no
one
way.
can double team him. If you take 4 Warriors and just have him sit on the bench or lay on the ground, they're gonna make the playoffs. Starting 4 players. Like, I don't want to hear it. If you put Kevin Durant on the Cavaliers and you can double him, he ain't nothing. Like,
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear that. Like, so I hope that
Well, he's definitely not the best player in the world. I mean,
No.
there's no way in hell.
yeah. Okay. Anyway, so
LeBron poops Durant's.
yes,
Like,
yes.
so anyway, you want to talk about Kyrie for a second?
Yeah, actually, yeah. So, final thing about the NBA. Yeah, it's crazy. You know, I do love Kyrie Irving. I love watching.
Uncle Drew.
Yeah, man, and that's a movie that's actually coming out next month.
I know. I'm excited
I'm
about
gonna
it.
see that. That'll be great.
There's also a fun movie, a Spike Lee joint coming out.
Yeah.
That looks really good.
Oh, the
It's a
one.
black Ku Klux Klan member,
Yeah,
but it's a real
You know
true
the white
story of a detective.
Yeah,
that
you know
goes
the
undercover.
white. You know who the white main actor is?
Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I will see that.
Also the same actor from Girls.
Yeah, I actually was also watching Lincoln, and he is a telegraph. What are those called?
Yeah, Telegraph.
Yeah. He's I was watching Lincoln and I'm just like watching a period piece. I'm like, wow. What a challenge. Slavery. Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
Kyrie.
yeah, so
Kyrie Ren.
I have such Kyrie Ren, I love that. I have such fond memories of Kyrie just dancing on fools. Like,
He's a baller.
when they put Steph on him in the finals, it was just over. Like, Kyrie just knew it.
Mm-hmm.
And, because Kyrie's not very good defensively either, and Steph can obviously score on him. But, like, I think a lot of the reason that a lot of players, a lot of point guards specifically don't like Steph Curry is that they have to guard him,
Mm-hmm.
and then he doesn't have to guard them. And they
Yeah.
protect him. And so yesterday, when Houston played Golden State, they would switch and put Harden on Steph, and they drilled Steph. And also, Steph has an MCL sprain, so
Yeah.
I think James Harden ended up getting like 40-something points, maybe even 50. But so Kyrie, you know, it's a little bit of an indictment on him with Boston. Like, they're gonna make the finals. Unless Cleveland comes back, like, and even if they don't, like,
Yeah, these 2 games have been in the Garden. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that we could see the whole series shift.
yeah, I mean,
2 more games.
Milwaukee took them to 7 games in the first round, so that is possible. But I think Milwaukee has a better team collectively.
Well,
Cleveland
and
does.
just what the eye test says that there's a better team wearing green
Yeah.
than they're in crimson.
Yeah, so Chris Broussard said the other day that even no matter what happens, this is not, and this is a dumb narrative thing, but it's interesting to talk about. It's no longer Kyrie's team, quote unquote. It's now Brad Stevens' team,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of feel that way. You know, it's like you never thought.
It can't be your team especially if they win the championship and you didn't play a single minute.
No, you didn't even play a single minute in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, I heard a couple trade scenarios to get Kawhi, and it was like you don't trade Jaylen Brown, you don't trade Jason Tatum, you trade either Gordon Hayward or even Kyrie. Like,
Can you imagine Kyrie being shopped that much in one calendar year?
He was traded. He wanted to be traded. He didn't go there in free agency.
I know. I'm just saying, man, he's such a talented individual plaar. Like,
I mean,
it's
that's
just-
an indictment on his look. He had only a couple of years left. He was playing with LeBron James. They'd only won a championship a year previous,
Mhm.
and I admire his Mamba mentality with I want to be the man. And I could never know what was going on in that locker room. Maybe he couldn't stand LeBron because I'm sure LeBron is overbearing. But at the same time, man, you say I want to be traded or I'm going to get knee surgery, and like you're blindsiding people with that.
Yeah, that's kind of
After, like they were going to trade Kevin Love to get Paul George to revamp.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel bad for Kevin Love hearing about that, but that would have made them more athletic, would have helped them defensively, and they were ready to do it. And then Kyrie's like, I want to be traded.
Yeah.
And they got screwed on that trade. Isaiah Thomas was a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
So,
As a Laker fan, I agree.
yeah, so
I was super.
look, Kyrie, I love you, but like, if you come back and
Well,
you
we'll
win,
see how it goes.
if you come back and you win a championship with Boston, you better hope that Cleveland comes back and wins the next 4 games. So it seems like they need you, because if they go and make it to the finals and then are competitive with Golden State, and then you come back and then help them win or something, you're just like Kevin Durant.
Well, that's Kyrie because he's on the bench and with the team throughout the playoffs.
He's sitting there in the back.
He
had
was
knee-
high-fiving today.
He had niece. What do you mean? What are you trying to say?
I saw him standing and high-fiving players.
Oh, you're saying like
an hour
he
ago.
feels like that attachment with the team?
If he connects with the team and is part of the team, and they win a finals without him, and he just takes a big slice of humble pie, and he's like, you know what? Let's do this even better next year, and I would love to see Cleveland again next year. And I want to play against him. I could see that happening too.
Look, if
He's
I
in
were
a big
him,
market,
Yeah,
great
man.
team,
Yeah.
great coach.
yeah, I agree. Like, I'm not saying like.
And he can still be the guy, air quotes. He can still be the guy, but just not a like LeBron or Kobe guy where he's just like, give me the fucking ball, give me the ball. I mean, he's a point guard. You're going to get the ball. You're
Yeah,
going to get the ball every fucking time.
yeah,
And
I'm
just
not
ball
saying-
out
yeah.
with your assists. And
He doesn't really assist the ball.
Well, maybe that's what he needs to start doing because everyone else seems to score enough to potentially make it to the finals.
Yeah, I
So
agree.
that's what he maybe a little humble pie that he needs to get.
Yeah,
And
I
I'd like
agree.
to see that.
I
'cause
agree.
I think he looks good.
I just don't- I
in
feel-
green and
yeah.
white.
It's like it's almost like addition or subtraction by addition with that though, like because you put in Kyrie and what you replace Rozier as the like. Anyway, so it's an interesting. They have a good problem on their hands.
No, seriously.
All right, let's move on.
All right. No more basketball.
Basketball girl,
Baseball, baseball. Baseball, baseball.
The windup, the pitch.
Okay, now time for. I was gonna do that.
I did it better. You do a baseball hit.
That was good.
Yeah.
Some power there.
Yeah, we'll put a poll out there on Twitter and forget to do
Yeah.
it, actually. All right, so it is Mariners time. Let's talk about the Mariners a little bit. We have 162 games in a season, so do we really need to talk that much about the Mariners in every episode? No. But there's some huge things that have happened
This is like
in the last couple
this
weeks.
this is like ground shaking.
Let's start with the positive. Ichiro and James Paxton.
Yeah,
and the
those are
Mariners, playing fairly well.
Good
So
things.
Ichiro is now the chairman's little helper.
He's the little helper.
He's a little helper. So that's probably because his batting average is about 200. No
200 more than
RBIs,
mine,
no
right?
home runs, but you expect him not to hit home runs. But he's over 40. He's with the Mariners because he needed to be back with the Mariners. We brought him in, we loved him, cultivated him, and he became what he was with the Mariners. I really think that we kind of brought him in with that expectation that we're going to transition you into something else about a third or a quarter way through the season because we have these other projects like Heredia and Gamble that we really like out there in left field.
Yep.
So I think that is what we got out of that. I cannot wait to see his jersey retired probably next year.
Oh yeah.
And I'm really happy that he's still in the dugout.
Yeah,
wearing
that's great.
blue.
That's great.
True to the blue.
Yep. Oh, real quick. So Ichiro, we were talking about this best on-base hitter of all time, in our opinion, in baseball history. I just want to make a little quick shout-out, given the recent judgment by the Supreme Court. Put Pete Rose on the Hall of Fame, people. Okay. James Paxton threw a no-hitter last week?
Yeah, it was last weekend, I believe.
No,
So,
last weekend was when we went to the game. So not
that was May 4th. It's May 15th.
Oh.
So last weekend was, So anyway, against the Blue Jays, I think it was the second game of the series, and threw no-hitter. And
no.
No, it's not.
No.
That's really great for him.
No.
One, because I think he needs the confidence a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just his face
Right.
or his personality. But the Big Maple is not injured. He is a heat thrower, 97, 98, 99. His fastball plays the toys, drinks LaCroix. Ian Turner. It's because there's no more wine.
No, there's no more.
Sweet berry wine. For health. Yeah, but so he threw a no-hitter. Obviously, the no-hitters come with the help of your defense. And that means any no-hitter, you have probably 3 or 4 fantastic defensive plays, whether it be infield or outfield.
Oh, yeah. I was just watching the last play because I remember it looking like a particularly tough hit to field. Not so much, but, it was
Was that Deke Gordon center field?
No, man, it was a rip to third.
Oh, Seager. Yeah, Seager.
But
he's a vacuum.
It was right to him, though.
Yeah, and he's a vacuum. He doesn't drop many. But anyway, it was just... It's really good to see one of our pitchers do something that is of that category. I mean, Felix last year was just injured and up and down. It was weird to see our ace do that. And then Paxton was injured like half the season, but had a really great start.
Right.
Haniger had a great start
this year.
I think he's 2-1, 3-1 with like 5-6 games.
What about ERA?
About a 4-something ERA, I want to say. I think he's doing okay. It's not doing poorly. It isn't. I think someone said on his Cy Young year that he actually had a poorer record and stats to start where he is right now. So he could pick up, but I'm really happy to see Paxton there too. A little competition in the bullpen. So, and the Big Maple's got a fun name.
Well, that is all happy news, Aaron.
That's
Happy
fantastic
day.
news.
All sunshine and rainbows.
No.
But
What the fuck, bro?
Did you no? The thong song.
Thong song.
Shit. Hang on, I'm trying to find that statement. Okay.
Robinson Cano, you didn't.
Oh, he did. And I
What did
quote,
he do?
Recently I learned that I tested positive for a substance called furosemide, which is not a performance-enhancing substance, period. Furosemide is used to treat various medical conditions in the United States and in
Pause. So, one, you're reading his statement.
Yeah.
And his acknowledgement of this. But two, pretty much every player that actually finally got the gavel on it that said, no, you can't play. Oh, it's for medical stuff. So, like, I appreciate that he's not appealing. But, fucking come on. Go ahead, keep reading.
You want the whole statement?
Yeah, speed read it.
Okay. The substance was given to me by a doctor.
From where?
From the Dominican Republic.
Why?
To treat a medical ailment.
Okay. Dumb. Go to Team Doctors. That's always the fucking answer.
Man, I
If I am from
can't-
Bolivia,
No, I get it.
I don't go to Bolivian doctors.
Pretty sure it's like where A-Rod got all this shit. So I agree, but I remember John Clayton saying at one point when Jason Peters, the lineman for Philly, got hit for PEDs, and he just made this argument for taking basically, I guess the resolution is don't take supplements you don't know. But like sometimes it can be cut and it won't even be in the nutrition facts, quote unquote nutrition facts. So maybe, but he's not appealing. So Robbie, you're a big dude. Don't give people the opening to put an asterisk by your record because you're an amazing player.
And he pretty much did.
Yeah.
And so let me put 30 seconds on the stuff with just like the doctors and I wasn't sure, and it's for this or what. As far as I know, it's pretty clear what is allowed. What's not clear is what's not allowed, other than just, like,
No.
you can't do cocaine off a bat.
No.
But
No, it's the other way around. It's clear what's not allowed because
that's what I
how
meant.
can you write a list of what's allowed?
That's really what I meant.
Apples, bananas.
Yeah.
You can eat bugs.
Yeah. That's
We
what I
won't
meant. But
stop
I meant like in terms of like, should I inject this or should I eat this pill? I'm pretty sure there's a quick answer somewhere,
Yeah.
at least with the
And
money and
substance
the
list.
resources you have.
Yeah.
There's a way to do it. And probably I get it, you're from the Dominican Republic. That's awesome. That's really cool. But you work and live.
And you probably get free health care.
Well, you get, his health benefits are probably, if they're not free, it's very minimal compared to $12 million. But, and that's what
I'm just saying
that's
it's probably
what- that's
better
what-
than whatever they got in the Dominican Republic.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I guess that's more even blunt, is just like doctor in the Dominican Republic. Granted, maybe under his payroll, not under that.
I'm not going to
that
say that
sounded
they're
bad,
any worse
but-
than American doctors, but I will say that when I was in Miami, my Uber driver was a doctor.
No shit.
Yeah.
Weird. Okay. Well, Miami is part of the Americas.
Estoy doctor.
The United States of Americas, I should
Yeah.
say. Anyway, fuck. All I'm saying is, what were you thinking? Ever. Obviously is not the right word. I hope that the team doctors were unaware of this. Because why would you ever go to an outside source to put something in your body when you know you're tested all the time? And I really hope that he's being honest. Is that he's like, it is actually for that, because I'm not a fucking pharmacist. I don't know what that word meant and what it is used
It's a
for.
Big old word.
But especially coming off of a fallout from the Sosa and Mark McGuire, A-Rod, Barry Bonds, that fallout, and we've had like almost a clean decade.
Right.
Like almost kind of, I feel. I don't feel like there's been big headlines about it. It's like, why does this have to happen again? Didn't everyone learn their lesson? Once bitten, twice shy. Just don't do what they did. What is this? MLB, is this okay? Or is it the MLB? But who knows? But facts are, he isn't playing for not the rest of the season. He can come back.
he'll be back.
80 games.
Yeah, he'll be back.
However, if we make the postseason, he is ineligible.
What?
Yeah. It is 80 regular season games
And then the entire postseason.
and no postseason.
Wow, that is a major punishment.
So he can come back and help us get to our first postseason in nearly 20 years
I was just about to say.
and not be a part of it.
I was just about to say he's 35. Like, if
Cano's 35.
I'm looking at this right here, he was born in '82.
What a. Okay, he must be on drugs.
That's not necessarily true.
I
man.
was being facetious again, but
Yeah.
man, he plays that second base
That-
position so fluidly.
Baseball's
for a 35-year-old.
35. His football's 28.
But the second base is a very agile position that you need to have.
Yeah, it's not shortstop, but you're right.
It's next to.
Yeah,
Literally.
Okay. Well, yeah, there's more left-handed hitters. Anyway, yeah, it sucks, man. I was just about to say, if, like, by some miracle you could hold on without him, a fresh 35-year-old Robbie having, an 80-game break, maybe we, it could have been a blessing in disguise.
But in the postseason.
Yeah, that sucks.
When I heard it,
I didn't realize, is
when
that,
I
is
heard
that
80
common
games,
practice?
I don't know.
That's brutal.
I don't know. That's what I thought, because at first I was like, 80 games. All right. Well, he broke his hand the other night. He got hit by a pitch, broke his hand, right hand metatarsal.
Is that why he got drug tested?
No, I think this
Or
came
blood
up.
tested?
No, this came up from a treatment
Oh, okay.
previously. I think it just came. I think this surfaced.
Okay.
But I could be wrong. I'm not breaking news from me. But he did break his hand, and he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks,
Yeah.
potentially a little bit longer, because it is a
Yeah.
hand, and it's pretty much the most important thing in baseball is your hands.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, that's not bad. 80 games. He's already going to miss half of those because 46 weeks. So cool.
Yeah.
And postseason. All right, jaw drop.
Yeah.
Fuck everything.
That sucks.
So we really have to see how the team plays as they are right now, which is third best in the league on hitting, batting average. So there is plenty of talent on our team.
Yeah.
Mitch Haniger is having an MVP
It's
season
a
right
really,
now.
competitive division.
Yeah, we have a great pitcher, that's playing well, and we have a great outfield. We have a on-base percentage from D. Gordon that's all-star level, and he can steal all the bases.
Yep.
All at once, and he's really loving center field. He's got that speed. And,
Remember, he was not stoked about that originally.
but he helped a no hitter.
Yeah.
He had a diving catch from center field, full sprint, and
Right.
that helped. That otherwise, that's not a no hitter. And James Paxton loves you.
Yeah.
Big Maple. So there's still a lot of promise. We still got Cruz. We still got the boomstick, unless something else comes up with him, because that's a big dude too.
Yeah.
But anyway, cross my heart, hope to die. Robbins Cano, poop.
You're not that guy.
So there's the Mariners in a butt shell.
My, oh my. Did you stop?
I didn't stop.
Baseball. Baseball. Baseball.
Montana shot, and a goal! Seattle has that first! All I gotta say is fucking can't say is cheese!
He's a tough kid.
Scuttlebutt.
All right, it's scuttlebutt time. Sounders. So we played Toronto last Wednesday, which is almost exactly a week ago.
So,
And then we played Portland,
yes.
and now we're here.
Yes. So, last time we spoke, we were talking about the rocky start and how Toronto, how they performed in the tournament at the beginning of the season.
Champions League, yeah.
Yes. But also how they had won the previous season. And
Against us.
you weren't necessarily, sure how this match was going to go. So, what ended up happening?
Well, I was going to be happy with a draw. Whether it be 0-0 or 1-1 or 2-2 or 3-3 or 4-4. Actually, if it was 3-3 or 4-4, I would be ecstatic for a draw based on our lack of scoring prowess.
What's the highest scoring draw you've ever witnessed?
In person,
Whatever.
well, 4-4 was really fun in Portland a couple of years back.
That sounds like an emotional roller coaster.
It was. It was because Clint Dempsey had a hat trick.
Oh, sweet.
So they hate him. But anyway, I was like okay with a road draw. I was really happy with it. So when we get there without Clint Dempsey, without Nicolas Ladera, without Victor Rodriguez, who hasn't played all year.
So where are all those players currently? Why are they not making the trip?
Broken toe, pretty much.
For Clint?
No, Clint Dempsey didn't make the trip because we played the weekend prior against Columbus,
So
which was a shit show.
is he still traveling all around and not? He's still doing all his other team stuff, or
The U.S. men's national team? No.
so he
The
just
one
doesn't
we didn't make the
travel with
World
team?
Cup.
Yeah, I did know that. So is he just not traveling with the team?
No, it's just congested schedule, and
Okay.
and it you can only have an 8 in your 18 or less, and that's 7 bench players. And I think with the Portland game coming up, the congested schedule, and honestly, I think Clint should have traveled. Whatever, Brian Schmetzer, but it didn't seem to really piss Clint off. I mean, he is 35, so. And we did a new formation, which we're not used to, start with 5 in the back
Uh-huh.
instead of 4, which is fairly standard, and then we have just our different midfield.
Can you explain that real quick? So is it like a 4-3 defense where you just do different positions?
More or less, yeah.
Okay.
Think zone. That's soccer. Is zone defense.
Okay.
You don't man up.
Right.
You can't.
Yeah,
Yeah. Otherwise,
possible.
people are just all over the place.
Yeah.
So you the
There'd
standard
be some
for
epic broken ankles though. If there.
yes, there would. So the basic standard formation is 4-4-2.
Okay.
4 on the back line, 4 in the midfield, just straight across from
Mm-hmm.
sideline to sideline, and 2 up front, side by side.
Yeah.
Not side by side like holding hands.
Yeah.
But side by side by 10 yards. or
So I
whatever.
played lacrosse. Can the defensive players take it out, and then you have to have
There-
one of the midfielders stay
It
behind?
is all game. Obviously, it probably might not work for your system and almost every system, but you could have a center back dribble all over the field and be
But
really
then
good
does one
scorer.
midfielder have to stay behind the
No.
the line?
No.
So why, if like, let's say, you know, in hockey when you're losing, you can take out the goalie. So can you?
Yeah.
So if the
Yeah, you could take out the goalie in soccer.
really,
Yeah, you'd sub him off. I mean, he's wearing mitts and shit like that. But like, yeah, no, that there's been times where there's no backup keeper, and a keeper's been red carded or
Yeah.
hurt,
Yeah.
and a field player puts on the mitts and just stands there.
oh yeah.
Yeah, and if they have a backup like jersey, or
Right.
whatever. But anyway, yeah.
So you switched up. The
Every
formation.
player can play wherever the hell they want.
Right.
It's the system, the formation that you have that is the manager, the coach's discretion, what his idea of what he wants to happen on the field.
Right.
That is what the players have to adapt
Right,
to and
right,
play
right.
as, so they know where the other player is, and this is where I'm supposed to be. So we have never been a 5-man back line. I don't remember, other than maybe a mid-game something. I could probably say we've never had a 5-man back line, but that gives
Right.
your fullbacks more potential to actually play in the midfield a little bit more, and you have 3 men just stay back to be like, we are the wall of
Yeah,
defense.
Yeah.
We normally have like 2, and then these guys kind of switch. The right back's going forward a lot, the left back doesn't. And if the left back goes forward a lot, the right back doesn't, just to keep it kind of balanced a little bit. When you have 3 back there, they can kind of fly
Nice.
on either side,
Yeah.
which really helps the midfield, because now you're down a guy in the midfield because you put him on defense.
Right.
So it's a different dynamic, and we actually played really, really well against them. They didn't have Josie Altidore, but we didn't have Clint Dempsey. They had Giovinco, and we didn't have Ladero. So we were the undermanned team away against a team we lost to in the MLS Cup Finals, and they're also near the bottom of the table too. So it's
Right.
just kind of like, where are these teams at? This is a good match, and sure enough, we fucking beat their ass.
What was the score?
2-1. But
So you,
I mean, check
That's a
Scuttle on
dub.
Twitter.
Yeah.
I spent a good amount of time giggling and
Check
making a gif
yeah.
about Wolf, who I love, Magnus Wolf Ikram.
That's his
is
name.
Look his face up. We did face lookups in the last episode. Wait till you see his face. You do not want to fuck with this man, because it looks like he's headbutted everyone he's ever met, ever since the moment he came out of the womb.
Yeah, he does.
It's literally a flat nose.
Yeah, he looks
There
like
is no
he looks like he's
protrusion.
permanently eating a lemon and smelling a diaper. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's very technical. He looks
Yeah.
like he'd be a brute. He's
Yeah.
so not. He's got really just kind of a gazelle-like stride,
Yeah.
but really quick touch. And he nutmegged Michael Bradley, and then I
Nice.
forget who the
That's
next
awesome.
player is, but immediately after he did Michael Bradley, who
Yeah.
is the captain of the men's national team,
Yeah.
and he was playing center back, defensive player. He's predominantly always been a center defensive mid, kind of just I hold the midfield. He nutmegged him, nutmegged the next player within the next touch, like
Yeah.
nut
Nice. That's
nut
amazing.
to the nuts, and then
Nut squared.
one extra touch, and then a perfect pass to Will Bruin for the
Awesome.
score. So which I was begging, and I knew of this man. And his last performance was not up there. People were like, "Meh, let's put our 18-year-old out there some more." I'm like, "No, the kid's good, but he's not a national team player for Norway
Yeah.
that we paid and invested money in." Brian Schmetter's not all about investing. It's all about, like, compete, like Pete Carroll.
Yeah.
I agree with that, too. But this guy's only had one start, and you're judging him off of that. And then he's been subbed on for the last 10 to 20 minutes of every other game before that. Go fuck that noise, because I watched preseason, and him and Clint Dempsey danced around an 18 box for about 5 minutes before someone scored.
Nice.
And I think it was Ikram. So anyway, I'm really happy to see him get an assist. Will Bruin scored. It was like, our juice is back. It was Wednesday. We're coming home, PNW. It's a bus ride down to Portland, a few hours.
Right.
So we're coming home, and we're playing Portland, our fucking arch rivals, said Brian Smesser in the locker room. Like,
Right.
enjoy this. Pointed at
He said that in the locker room after Toronto.
After Toronto.
Yeah.
Enjoy this. But we got another game coming up in just a few days. And he pointed at Gustav Svensson,
Yeah.
and said, "You can have one beer."
Yeah.
Which I guess it must be like he likes beer.
Yeah.
But anyway, he's sitting there with his legs crossed, just looking very like, huh? And Brian was like, "You can have one beer." Anyway, so cool. And then we go to Portland.
And
We lost.
that's not what you were meant to do.
Yeah, not at all. 100th meeting against Portland
Wow. In MLS.
in history.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, no, this dates back to 1974.
Right.
They came out in this world in
Are you
1975.
saying you were born in 1974?
Yes.
Senators. And
Now
now we're
Yes.
I know.
I'm proud of you.
I know the word because I had to listen to it on the blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks until I got to the stadium.
Did I share with you the screenshot on ESPN at so we mentioned this before. My bachelor party last year was June 24th, 5th, 15th against Portland in Portland, and all my guys took me to Providence Park.
Right.
And we went, and pretty much all of my bachelor party crew doesn't give a shit about soccer.
Yeah.
They one across from me. But Tor, who you might know if you're just listening to the Scuttlebutt segment from our other 32 episodes, he was there. And so we're loving the Sounders. Yay! But Ian's sitting there, and ESPN is just on the section. We're sitting with ECS, and God bless all you guys for buying ECS memberships. Thank you for not renewing them and never going to a game again, because that's not what it's for. But I appreciate y'all doing it so we could sit together in ECS section. Ian's sitting there looking up towards 11 o'clock, pretty much, just like up towards the stars in the middle of the game.
I'm like
Wearing shorts and like army boots because you have bad ankles.
Yeah, I did.
But wearing shorty shorts-ish, not meant to be, just the way you're sitting, they look like it. And your hand is straight on your dick.
Yep.
And ESPN didn't like catch it, but I caught it because I knew it was saying. It's funny. I'm gonna find that and put it on Twitter. That's pretty much.
Yeah.
What? It's not like your dick's
No.
out.
I was just thinking about how you can find it because other Aaron has it. He posted it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Other Aaron. There are more than me. So anyway, yeah, we lost to Portland. It was not a match that we got really beaten, and we didn't really lose. It was just a goal happened, and that happens in soccer.
Right.
It was hot, and they didn't have a game midweek. We still didn't have Ladero. We didn't have a couple of Roman Torres, our stalwart big. I call him Big Pelo.
Uh-huh.
He's got the crazy hair, Uncle Bob, or Sideshow Bob kind of hair.
Oh, I've seen that. Okay.
Yeah, and he's a massive man. And FIFA rating, he's like one of the highest rating for strength of a center back of a player in the world. But that's not, physically probably true. Who knows? But he's a beast. So that's pretty shitty. So yay, Toronto and Portland.
Yeah.
But we still have the overall. We still have 51 or 50 wins on them.
Right.
Of
awesome.
100.
That's nice. So what's next? Like what's the next game? What do you think
It's
about
in 2 weeks, actually.
Oh, wow.
So we got a break here.
Wait a minute. Question: how does soccer?
International breaks.
Oh, I see.
And MLS is a weird league, so it's kind of hard to tell
like
you.
2 games in a week and then 2 weeks off.
More or less, they try to congest it a little bit. That would have been our next week game. Toronto would have been this last weekend, and Portland would have. If it was going to be weekly, that's how it happens. But there is an international schedule because a lot of players play for international teams, national teams.
Right.
So if you take away your best players, how is that fair for the league? So the leagues around the world adjust their schedules based on that. MLS, on the other hand, because there hasn't been national team stars from other countries up until the last probably decade, and really the last 5 or 6 years, they haven't really abided by that. And now, more recently, the clubs are allowed to, here's the international schedule. And clubs are kind of allowed to, I want to play or not, but both clubs of that schedule, sorry, microphone, both clubs of that game, say on June 20th, need to agree to have it rescheduled. Okay. So a team like DC United, who doesn't have anyone that's really good other than Paul Arriola, who is a U.S. men's national team player,
Mm-hmm.
who was signed just last summer. He's their only real reason they would maybe, hey, international break, he's not going to be on the team because he's going to be with the U.S. We don't want to play. Does other team agree with that? Okay, then we can reschedule that. And that's how it works right now. It's pretty junky. But,
Well, it's the world's game, so.
It really is. It really is the world's game, and we bring the rest of the world here, and they're not all just from the the Caribbean or Mexico playing baseball.
Right.
Yeah. You have
Absolutely.
people from David Villa from Spain, and even though he's not playing
Well,
national team now,
this comment is based on what you're saying was also a good segue into what we were going to talk about. It's cool that it is the world's game, and more names and people from different leagues are coming here. It's cool for MLS to be getting that traction.
and they pretty much started with Beckham.
Yeah.
It's
crazy
And
that
Thierry Henry, and
For how many years when Beckham came to MLS was he a good player?
he was good every year he played.
Oh, really? He
Oh,
retired on top?
Oh yeah,
Interesting.
he retired on a championship, I believe, in 2000.
With Landon
10-ish,
Donovan,
this-
who
yeah,
did he
Landon
start
Donovan.
out? Was he primarily MLS or did he play Premier League?
Landon Donovan played both, but he was 100% MLS.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, he didn't start with the Galaxy if I remember correctly, but he pretty much made that his home.
Who's the best MLS player
and then
of
he
all
played
time?
for Everton, MLS player of all
Yeah.
time. Well, that'd be tough. It'd probably be Landon Donovan.
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah,
It'd have to
because
be
he recently
him.
retired, right?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, and then
Yeah.
kind of unretired, and he's back to.
He's back.
He trained. No, he's not back, but he trained with Sporting Lisbon or something. One of those teams, Sporting CP or something. He trained with something. Maybe it was Mexico, but it wasn't real. It wasn't really real.
Where's he
he's
from?
he's the best. Landon, Cali.
Oh, he's American.
Oh yeah, Landon Donovan. Yeah, he's
Okay.
American. That's why he stayed MLS
Cool.
and men's national
Very
team.
cool.
Then I would say Dwayne De Rosario. Maybe just longevity. He was a DC United guy. He played a couple other teams, but it's definitely I would say Landon. I don't know why I even said it was tough for MLS all time. Yeah.
Well, speaking of big names and DC United,
Yeah.
there's a big name
And Everton, oddly enough, because Landon played
perfect.
a little bit for them.
and England.
And
England. You'll never know what
England.
that's about.
mushrooms. Ian and I did them once.
Well, more than once. But anyway,
At least once we did mushrooms and talked about England.
at least once I put mushrooms on my pizza.
And smoked all our cigarettes twice.
Yeah, and ate the butts.
In about 8 minutes.
Yeah. So
Anyway.
Aaron, big name came to the MLS. I don't know if you want to talk about it.
official. It's not official.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No.
But I did a good thing.
It's
So,
more or less.
previous episode of Scuttlebutt, I turned on a soccer game and stared at
And
it.
then turned it off.
I did. Made it until I learned about the defensive third.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that. And there's a blue team. There's at least one blue team and at least one red team.
There it is.
But now I actually even created a talking point. And this is that talking point. So, Wayne Rooney, the guy who looks like if you took Jason Statham and
Turned him into a Lego man.
threw him in a beehive, you got Wayne Rooney.
He's like a blushing Lego man that was modeled after Jason Statham.
He's like English Soccer Hooligan Volume 1. He's like the first one. And he looks like just
see it,
a
yeah.
British guy who would wear a striped polo and beat the shit out
There's
of
a
you.
man named Vince, but you'll see he's actually in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. He was like the brute.
Oh, I know what you're talking
Oh,
about.
yeah. I
Yeah.
think his name is Vince. But that's the hooligan guy.
Great movie, actually, is Green Street.
Green
Street.
Street Hooligans.
Such a good movie.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Elijah Wood's not his crowning achievement, but
Flipper was his crowning achievement.
is he in Flipper?
Yeah.
I thought Flipper was like in the 50s.
It was a TV show. In the
I know. Oh wait,
there's a normal movie like mid early 90s Flipper.
Is it canon?
Yes, Flipper's super old.
It's a continuing
90-year-old
as I
Flipper.
push my glasses. Okay. So what do you want to talk? Like, what do you think about Wayne Rooney?
The potential of Wayne Rooney to DC United,
yeah.
aka MLS.
Let's talk about it from an MLS perspective.
Well, MLS perspective, because they'd have to sign him because it's a single entity league. We don't have to talk about that.
Communism.
Pretty much. But I'm okay with it. I mean, I'd be happy for it.
It seems like it's good for you
names,
guys.
yes.
Yeah, that's what
I mean,
I'm
he's
thinking.
still a Premier League player.
Yeah.
He's fresh. He's Man U just 2 years ago. He's 32. He's taken a dip in his production, but that's not abnormal.
How old was David Beckham when he retired from MLS?
Probably 35, 36,
Okay. Anyway, I was just curious.
plus or minus a couple of years. You know, late, but not 40, not 35.
But older than Wayne Rooney.
Yeah. And Wayne Rooney, I think, he had some injuries too, with Man U and a little bit with Everton, but he's playing all right for Everton. He's just not who he was 5-10 years ago,
Right.
or even when he was 18. But he is the all-time leading scorer for the English national team. The all-time leading scorer for the Spanish national team is David Villa, who's 36 years old and killing it.
And just staying in the Premier League.
David Villa's with NYCFC.
Oh, right. I knew that. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like, you can't say a guy's 32 and he's washed up.
No, of course not.
What have you
But
done for me
injury
lately?
history is a little bit of a...
Yeah. Well, that's the chair, not my butthole.
It was actually my butthole.
So, I mean, MLS is a more physical league, for sure. So, that's a thing. But Premier League is not a pansy league. That is the Premier League for a reason. So, they're pretty rough, too. But they also have that other dynamic of we're all very skillful, too.
Right.
So, you can avoid some of those tackles. But the talent level has increased the last 5 years
Exponentially.
tenfold. Man,
Yeah.
Probably, let's go with exponentially, actually. Since Beckham, really. That
Yeah.
was the Beckham rule turned into DP, turned into just having one DP. Now teams have 3. And now the targeted allocation money, general allocation money, weird accounting words and ways to make rosters better
Yeah, I made a joke
within
about
a single entity.
I made a
league.
joke about the communism thing, but the more I'm thinking about that with the DP rule and having 3 players, that could work for parity in other leagues.
Well, the parody in MLS is fantastic.
Yeah.
It really is. They have
Well,
Toronto
look at
be bullshit.
Champion.
4
Yeah.
years ago, signed
Champion last
Josie
year.
Altidore Giovinco and Altidore.
And not being that good this year.
And they're still good.
Well, yeah, but
They're
they're
still
not,
good.
But they're struggling.
And
out
they're
the
going to be in
gate.
the playoffs. Yeah. I still have faith that we're going to be in the playoffs and Toronto.
The MLS playoffs, is it like the NBA where half the teams make it, or what's the
Pretty
MLS?
much.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 years ago, half the team didn't exist.
Yeah.
Or half the league didn't exist, it seems like.
So is
because
it a
there's
bracket
new
tournament,
team.
East and West?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's full. It's a
How many seeds are there?
It's a dumbed down, I would say NFL. It's kind of like NFL.
Okay,
It's
so
got, you divide
do you get
divide it in
buys?
half. Yeah, there's
Okay.
a bye. There is a wild card,
Mhm.
like play-in round, one off,
Mhm.
and then it's home and away, home and away.
Oh,
Fine.
cool.
So
I
one
love
off,
that.
home and
I
away,
think that's
home and
great.
away, fine.
I love how they added that to baseball a couple years ago. The 1-game playoff.
Yeah,
I think that's great.
it's exciting.
Super exciting.
Yeah. So we have that, and I think that is pretty much, that's probably what we're aiming for. But Wayne Rooney, DC United. And so I'm excited. I want Wayne Rooney in the league. Yes, he's 32. Okay, cool. I'm almost 32. He brings money to the league,
Yeah.
for sure. He brings eyes to the league from across the
Will he
pond
be the
and
best
more
player?
eyes here.
You said that DC is not that great of a team right now. Would he be the best player on that team?
I think he'll walk in there and be respected as the best player on the team.
Mhm.
Paul Areola is a U.S. men's national team player that does start pretty regularly, and he's a winger, which is a offensive midfielder kind of on the side.
I thought he was just a guy who winged it.
Yeah, and he's got big areolas.
Does
But-
he really?
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe he scored a goal one time.
I'm swimming with him on Thursday.
I've seen men take their shirts off when they get goals.
I have big areolas. We all know that. I have big Paul areolas.
It's just truth time here at the
This is-
TBD podcast.
We're getting down to the nitty gritty.
Sometimes.
Okay. I'm going to pinch my nips, make them a little harder.
I was thinking
I'm
about it.
self-conscious by myself. Anyway.
So
Paul
all in all,
Areola
good
is probably their
good-
overall best player.
All in all, good for the
The league.
Yeah.
for DC United, who's completing their new stadium because they've been playing in pretty much a graveyard, RFK.
It goes back to my thing. It'd be cool if you actually did play in a graveyard.
Okay.
Just special stadiums.
But here's the thing.
Outdoors.
And Taylor Twellman is shouting this. He's, for, you don't know who that is, probably?
No.
Okay. Former men's national team player, MLS player, and also ESPN
Oh,
analyst
I do know
and
He's like a
commentator.
redhead or a blonde or something like that.
You're thinking of Alexi Lawless when he said redhead, and you're probably thinking of Twellman when he said blonde.
Okay.
He looks like a Cali guy. Like
Yeah,
5'9".
I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
And I agree with him 100%, is that this is fantastic for the league and DC United if they treat him like who he is, a designated player, and then you continue building your team. You don't just say we signed a player to bring butts to the seats of our new stadium, and in a year and a half, everything, because you still suck, people start not going to the games.
Right.
Because, oh, cool, I saw Wayne Rooney, and the team still fucking sucks,
Right.
so I'm not going to buy a jersey. I'm going to go say I saw Wayne Rooney and go home.
Right.
I'll watch the rest on ESPN.
Right. No,
And then he retires or moves on
yeah
in 2 years.
gets a fat check.
Yeah, so DC United, who has a track record other than Paul Arriola last summer, August 2nd, 2017, of just not spending any fucking money on anybody. Nobody.
Why?
And they're an original... I don't know. Why do businesses fail? People suck in their front office. And it's not even their front office. It's their full-on organization.
Right.
And they're an OG club.
Right.
1996. So they need... If they're taking this as a leap of we're going in this brand new direction, revitalized DC United. I mean, they got Atlanta United, you have Orlando, you have LAFC, but right now, DC United has done nothing for over a decade, since Dwayne D. Rosario, honestly, and this could be their step in the right direction.
Right.
Or they're just putting their foot in their mouth.
Well,
And they make a quick buck for a
know.
calendar year.
Yeah, but, it's kind of
spending
like
about
rising
12
tide thing, raises all ships. So hopefully, with them trying to better themselves, it will create, more drama. And like, it'd be really cool to have,
Rising Tides beaches whales, too.
shrinking tides beach whales.
Well, they come up with the tide, and then the tide goes away, so then they get beached.
Well,
so
then-
you're kind of right, but if the tide wasn't...
Hitler's great-great-great-great-grandfather killed all the Jews. Technically, because, high tide, then low tide, and then the low tide before that high tide, and chain of responsibility.
Oh, okay. I was like, Hitler's great-great-great-grandfather? Was he amongst Jerusalem? Like, I don't like any of these folks. I'm going to write a letter, and I'm going to put it under our floor, and our
Give it to my son.
great-great-great-great-grandson's going to find it and make some changes.
Hitler jokes.
Yeah.
Best way to end a soccer segment.
Oh, my God.
All right, so
Actually, pretty shitty when you think about what's happening right now in the world, but...
yeah, it's pretty bad.
Oh, man. That's why you don't pay us. All right. Scuttlebutt out.
Nerdverse in.
Never give up, never surrender.
I've seen men take their shirts off when they get goals.
I have big areolas.
Pointing at me and Ian and Aaron, E-N-T, Aaron, L, and me.
E-N-T?
My last name is Turner.
Oh. I-N-T. A-N-L. Neither of us know ASL.
And we're going to go to hell. Anyway, so quick little glimpse through the nerdverse here. So I've been cheesing for the past couple days. As we sit here, it is about T-minus 10 days until the Solo film comes out in theaters to us plebes. We are not members of the press. We are not directors. We are not famous people. And so we are not allowed to see it beforehand. But that does not mean we have not had a glimpse into people's opinions of Solo, a Star Wars story. All that is to say, the review embargo was lifted today And over the weekend, after the initial press release, the initial Twitter reactions came out. And so I'm quite pleased. I think the review is, after The Last Jedi came out and it was toxic and people were assholes about it, I'm still expecting that to happen when all the mouth breathers go and see the movie and they freak out about, I'm sure there's going to be like
Mouth breathers.
Yeah, with mouth breathing neckbeards are going to freak out about something, but haven't seen the movie yet. But all, the
Mountain Dew!
Code Red!
Dumb bitch.
So, the people who actually, have honed their craft in critiquing film have spoken. And
Basically, people Ian respects have spoken.
yeah, and like and
Well, Ian's listened to people that have spoken that he respects.
yeah, and so long story short, I'll go through a couple things that really stood out to me, but long story short, it's sitting at a 71% on Rotten Tomato right now, and I use Rotten Tomato as a pretty baseline heuristic. For those of you who don't know, IMDb uses crowd-sourced rating, so anyone can go on and rate a movie. So if you for some reason you're mad at a movie, I don't know what kind of person you have to be.
On your phone, about to review, I love
Well,
that movie, and then you stub your tongue like, fuck that movie!
Yeah. You can pay people to give it a downvote. And so you have to, with Rotten Tomato, you have to be a certified critic in order to give the actual certified fresh or rotten rating. And so at the time of this recording, it was 55 or 52% had, basically it does, you can either vote as good or bad. And then that translates based on the amount of people who vote into a percentage. You can see either the movie was fresh or was rotten. And it's 55 fresh, 20 rotten. And the one, I can read some quick little clips from these reviews on Rotten Tomato, but the one rotten one I read, it was more, okay, so here's the one rotten one. I can see off the top of the fold. The first 6, 5 are good, 1 is bad. No doubt Harrison Ford's Han Solo would casually dismiss this adequately fun origin story with a wink and a wry smile. I mean, that's kind of like a pat on the head, backhanded compliment, but if that's the only bad thing people can say, that it's not as good as Harrison Ford, that's not that bad.
No, not at all.
So you saw a couple comments. How does this make you feel going into seeing the film in a week?
Well, you
or
really
so?
like John Campau.
Yeah, so
right?
John Campia is a movie vlogger that I really respect, and I had Aaron watch his review.
Yeah, so, I mean, I saw the tweets and stuff like that about it, and also, I mean, there's a lot of just trailer reactions that we've seen over the last couple months, too, which I think corroborate a lot towards what we expect from, let's just say, control variable here, someone that you really respect and who is a diehard Star Wars fan, John Campau, and he pretty much said, Donald Glover killed it.
Yep.
The guy, Alden Ehrenreich.
Yep.
I should be able to remember his last name. That he played him well.
Yeah.
And you could definitely see him.
You
believed it. You weren't that, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah.
That
was the one thing that would have ruined the movie if it had not worked.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah,
right there, you can sigh of relief. It's a good sign that good for them for releasing it this early, because people get so emotional about Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
You put that out there, and someone could have said he blew it, and that would have tanked their box office.
Oh, totally.
It's you can, as a Star Wars fan, if you want more movies to come out, you can live with all the people freaking out about Last Jedi. The movie still made $200 million its first weekend.
Yeah.
If you come out and
it's still good.
It's a great movie. It's a great
love that
movie.
movie.
Actually, another pundit made a good comment. I was listening to another review, and someone asked him what he liked better, Solo or Last Jedi. And he said that Last Jedi was a better made film, but Solo is a more fun Star Wars story.
Well, that's what I was kind of leaning with. What I liked about what John Campau said about his reaction to it was that Rogue One and Last Jedi were heavy.
Yeah.
Not so much just dark, but heavy. And
Yeah.
they're definitely
They are.
dark. I mean, Han Solo died in
Yeah.
one of them.
Yeah.
And so...
Well, Force Awakens, but I know what you mean.
Okay, yeah, sorry. But...
Luke Skywalker died.
Yeah, so there's been...
Spoiler.
we've had a really heavy Star Wars.
Yeah.
And this one, in good Han Solo fashion,
Yep.
is dry
Squashbuckling.
Squashbuckling?
Swashbuckling.
He's squashing his buckles. No more buckles for me. These pants are loosey-goosey. Come on, shoes. And I hear that Chewie like steals the show, which is kind of fun to have like a
stoked on
guy that doesn't speak anything other than
Yeah.
is like one of the best characters in the whole film. So
Yep.
I think that's really cool, and I'm excited to see Donald Glover because one, he's got his own stuff going on that's throwing him through the stratosphere.
Yeah.
I wasn't that good on SNL, but still talented in SNL. But no, he's a talented individual, and I'm really excited to see when you have someone to compare someone to, whether it be an actor or a historical person.
I'm talking about Lando as the character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Donald Glover playing Landau, or if you have like Ray Charles, Jamie Foxx playing Ray Charles, like dude, that was Ray Charles.
Yep.
Muhammad Ali and Will Smith. I'm like,
Yep.
you were Will Smith.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
You were Will Smith.
Yeah.
You were Muhammad Ali. Like,
Daniel Day-Lewis with Lincoln.
yeah, I didn't watch it.
You've never seen Lincoln? It's really
No,
good.
no.
Do you like House of Cards? I can't remember.
Yeah,
Dude, it's
I do.
House of Cards in the 1800s. It's really good.
Sure, okay, and then I'll watch it when I have 4 hours to sit and watch something.
It's a long movie.
Yeah, and I don't ever have 4 hours.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'm excited to see that, but also I'm loving the stories that they're starting to come out with now.
Yeah.
And it's not all episodes, and it's stories coming
really
back to a
excited
little
about that
bit
as well.
more of your universe that you want, where it's
Yep.
like we could have a 007 that's just
Yep.
not a character
And
we're
we
familiar
will talk
with.
about that. Yep.
So
Yeah.
I'm
and
excited.
To that point, I'm excited to bring my girlfriend. She's coming to the premiere with me, and I'm not bringing, I'm not just going with a bunch of nerds, and I'm looking for like, what quadrant are they in? Like, it's not great. Like, it's just gonna be a fun, self-contained heist movie, from what I can understand. And if you have the basic story beats of who Han Solo is, it's gonna be a story about family where Han meets Chewie, and that is based on what I'm hearing so far. The best part of this film, you said it was Chewbacca, but you buy the relationship between Han and Chewie. That cannot have been easy to do.
No.
Then we were talking about last episode about the acting lessons. I think we can all put those worries to bed. If that killed it, and Han reprising Harrison Ford, this new kid, he's like some Lithuanian basketball player who's reprising Chewie, who's taking over for Peter Mayhew. Peter Mayhew, who's played Chewie through Revenge of the Sith, because he's in Revenge of the Sith. He did a lot of the acting in Force Awakens, but they kind of switched back and forth. Anytime like Chewie had to like move around, they got a stunt double. But any of like the facial stuff, the guy this time, he's like younger than us. He's just this 7 foot tall dude who just tried to act.
The Cavaliers didn't want me.
Exactly. He's making more money doing this, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
So that's awesome. Another cool thing I heard is the Millennium Falcon is a character in and of itself. It's not like it has lines, but like it's a center story beat, the Falcon, and so it all kind of comes back to like what I was talking about last episode, that these books are I think they took a lot of story beats from this. The Kessel Run, the Millennium Falcon, how it transferred from Lando to Han, what Han thinks about that ship as he's trying to become a pilot, like
The greatest pilot in the galaxy.
Yes, and self-proclaimed, and I just think that's gonna be really great. And so, final thought. I guess the consistent negative comment is that the story can be a little clunky. Not going to be too worried about that, based on everything that happened behind the scenes. I'm just not going to
The
think
directors.
of that. Yeah, and then also, even without the directors, it's supposed to be like a biopic, so to speak. It's an origin story / biopic up to where he is at in New Hope. So it covers several years.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to smoothly go through.
Yeah.
I'm 8. I'm 12. I'm 16.
Yeah.
I'm 22.
And especially like when people have this notion of what they expect a Star Wars movie to be, like there's no flashbacks until Last Jedi. There's no time jumps until I guess this movie. So that doesn't bother me. I mean, there was only 6 movies, so it's not like they
Curious
covered
to
every.
find out what your overall reaction is when we see it.
I'm excited, man. I actually recently posted my. Here, actually, I'll do my ranking right now. This is my ranking as of last Friday. So my ranking of all Star Wars films is this. Let me straighten my tie. So at number 1, I have Empire Strikes Back. It's pretty common pick. Let me got the list right here. Okay, so number 1, Empire Strikes Back. Pretty common pick. By and large, on IMDb, which again is crowdfunded. I think it's like the 8th or 9th best movie of all time. So that's number 1. Number 2, Return of the Jedi. As a kid, that was definitely my favorite by far. Black suit Luke, green lightsaber, just awesome film.
Sexy looking.
Oh yeah,
A lot of sexy.
that's why I
Empires
primarily try to
or
wear
in,
black.
Jedi.
Okay, so now for number 3, I actually have 3A and 3B because I couldn't have the heart to put a prequel film ahead of A New Hope. So 3A is Revenge of the Sith. I love that movie. It's the movie where Anakin becomes Darth Vader. It's a prequel. A lot of people hate that stuff. I don't care. And then 3B is A New Hope, the original Star Wars. 4 is Force Awakens. Honorable mention after 4 is the Clone Wars animated show. It's not in the ranking, but that's where it goes. 5 is The Last Jedi. And again, I'm ranking my favorite things. So just because I say 5 is... Just because I say Last Jedi is 5, it doesn't mean that I think it's bad. Like, I saw a tweet today. It was like, my rankings. Star Wars movies I like, at the top. Star Wars movies I don't like, below that. And then all other movies.
Yeah.
So consider that when I say that. And then 6 is Rogue One. And I think 5... And those could switch. Because I want to see how Last Jedi ages. But Rogue One has great moments, but those characters I don't really care about.
Yeah.
And so then after 6 is the Rebels cartoon show, as honorable mention. 7 is Phantom Menace. Phantom Menace, for all its shortcomings, I find it, of all of the prequels, it has the most self-contained story. Like, you can watch it as itself, as a beginning, middle, and a resolution. Characters that are introduced have their arc and then die. Like Maul and Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
And I
There's a big jump, too, between 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah, totally. It's just, I really like it. It feels Star Warsy to me. They go to a...
I really liked it.
Yeah, and so, great duel at the end, great middle part with the pod race, Yeah, oh, man. Like, I was just saying, I was having an argument with somebody on Slack at my work, and they're complaining about Phantom Menace. I'm like, dude, they brought pod racers, Darth Maul, and that song.
Yeah.
Like... That's 3 more amazing things than 99.9% of all film, in my opinion. Yeah. Most films bring 0 amazing
it's like
things.
A saber.
Yeah. And then number 8 is Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones has amazing parts to it, but like...
Great battle scenes.
It does. And it just doesn't age in some parts because it's so... Yeah, like I was telling you, it's the most green screen film of all time. It just... A lot of it is made in 2002, some of the CGI, like... There's something to be said about practical effects.
Yeah.
Those 80s and 70s Star Wars films, because they were using puppets and practical sets, it just looks real.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think Force Awakens Last Jedi did a good
Yeah,
job.
and I think I followed your comment last time we talked about it with, like, the first Spider-Man. You watch it now, it's like, that looks like a little Spider-Man dildo stuck on the side of a building, just kind of like, you don't move right.
Yeah.
You're just kind of wiggling around.
I remember that. So I am excited to see it. It's another prequel film, and I think that's kind of cool, to be perfectly honest. Like, I'm excited to see this adventure. It's gonna be an adventure, and I'm excited to walk in and just have fun in this universe.
Don't tell me the odds. Let's see it. All right.
Over under 50% that is said. That line.
Nobody tells me the odds.
Tells me the odds, and in some derivative. Tell me the odds. Tells me you odds.
It's likely
that they'll say something like that. Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's likely that there's going to be something that Han Solo said before that's going to be said in this one.
Yeah.
Kind of like in like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Kind of shit. Where it's like, okay.
Yeah.
But I think that's the kind of point of the film. It's like, that's Han Solo. He doesn't change his personality. If anything, he's the most stubborn person in the galaxy.
Yep,
so.
yep, and I think we'll see how he gets that way. So before we cut off, I'm just gonna off the top of the dome do a couple predictions. I'm gonna do some basic ones, and then I'm gonna do some far-fetched ones that I don't even know if I believe, but I want to happen. So just off the top of my head. Okay, easy one. Han is going to save Chewbacca from slavery as a cadet in the Imperial Navy, and that's why he's out of the Empire. So that's how he starts. That's how the movie's going to start. He's going to save Chewbacca that way.
Full-on prediction from you.
I'm just saying events. I'm not going to say how the film is going, but I'm going to say that absolutely happens in that exact context.
Okay.
Okay. 2. Emilia Clarke's character, Daenerys, is going to be the behind-the-scenes villain that is going to have been his high school crush that he always thought he ended up with. They do this mission together. That will be the twist.
It's kind of like a Bond villain.
Yes.
A Bond woman.
Exactly.
Okay.
Or like in Dark Knight Rises when he gets stabbed in the back by Bane's girlfriend, daughter of Ra's al Ghul.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So like that. She's gonna be the reason that he swears off
was
relationships. And she has the worst death scene in all cinema.
all of cinema.
Other than that movie's great. And I actually want to do a Batman ranking at some point.
I'm gonna do that.
Including all Batmans, not just Dark Knight. And so, I love that part. You know who that guy is? That's the bad guy from Rogue One. He's like, "Can we get some girls in here?
Really?
Do you feel in charge?" I love that scene.
Do you feel in charge?
I paid you, and that gives you power over me. I love that movie. I'm gonna rewatch it. Okay, now let's do some a little bit more outlandish ones. Obi-Wan Kenobi will be in this movie. Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor, will make a cameo in this movie, one way or another. I don't think he'll be major influence on the plot, but I think he will show up. I think he'll either run into Han, and they won't recognize who each other are, or he will. This is kind of in conflict with my just last prediction, but.
Okay.
Emilia Clarke will portray Han, but not as a bad guy. She's going to be a sleeper agent for the rebellion, and she will compromise their mission, which will be a heist. It's already been pretty much revealed that the plot of the movie is
a heist movie.
Yeah, it's not really Empire and Rebels. It's just criminals trying to do a heist.
Yeah,
and I'm going to say that Emilia Clarke compromises their mission to do her mission, which is something to do as a spy for the rebellion.
Obi is...
And she'll interact with Obi-Wan in some way. And the reason I'm saying that is because that's the love interest from the Han Solo film. She betrays Han and then joins the rebellion and leaves him. So, and I think Obi-Wan will be there. And the final prediction... Boba Fett will be in this movie in some capacity, and if he's not, that is a mistake.
I think you're probably going to be 100% right with Chewie being rescued by.
Yeah, that's my safest bet.
Yeah, that's pretty safe one. My over under on that is a
90.
17.
Yeah,
17 overs on that one. And Robbie Cano had 7 cups of steroids for breakfast.
That's 7 liters in South America.
Yeah, no, it's 7 liters of steroids in South America.
7 liters of no bueno.
But Robbie Cano's not from South America, so.
Central America, sorry.
Not even from Central
it's South
America.
of
It's
America.
from the Caribbean.
Where is that? Is that North America?
It's the Caribbean.
It's what continent?
The Caribbean. It's not a part of a continent. It's islands.
Every country is part of a continent.
That's not true.
I'm asking this right now.
The
Google.
islands of the Caribbean are not part of a continent. And at least I'm going by soccer, where it's CONCACAF, where it's North America, Central America, and the Caribbean.
Google says, what continent are the islands of the Caribbean in? North America. So I was wrong, but I'm also right.
Well, Google can go fuck itself. That's what I think.
Cora says, what continent is Jamaica on?
Oh, you know what? I bet if I go to Bing, it'll be like, it's no America. Whatever Google said, it's the ops. That's it. All right. Well,
Dusty Solo.
Can't think of solo pun. This duet. No, that's not going to work either. Anyway, I think that wraps it up.
You just gotta go solo for your jokes.
Okay, we'll end there.